sentence. Don't drop the baby.
All right.
Micah, I'm so happy that we're doing this. You know, there's somebody in your group, and we could chat for a minute. The room will start filling up, and it's already filling up. The people, they know that I come in early. There's somebody from your group that contacted me from your Ideas at Work group.
Awesome. Was it a good contact, or what were they doing?
I don't know. It was sort of like, hey, so you're in New York.
Okay.
All right. So do you see the chat room? And we have Deanna. Deanna, you're like one of my favorite people in the world. Deanna is a host. Deanna, were you, and Deborah, is that UD from San Francisco? Deanna is, and we have Italy, Elizabeth. We get from all over the world, Michael. I didn't know if I told you this.
Oh, you didn't mention that, but that's all right.
Yes, we actually even have people from, I have somebody from Cuba that comes into almost every class, which I always love. No, come on, guys. We've created an amazing team. We have Anna from Portugal and California, Christy from San Clemente. So, dear host, I met Michael. Michael, is it Michael? Is it Mical?
Michael.
Michael. Or the way I always scream it, Michael.
Yes, the way you scream it. That's the only way to do this.
I know. So, dear host, I met Michael about a few weeks ago. Has it been, how long has it been? A month?
A month and a half now, yeah.
Wow. In Las Vegas, when I was in Vegas, I met him. And I did not kidnap him either, like I did with the photographer last week. And we started talking about SEOs and search engine optimization. And then I was like, well, I'm doing these classes. And thankfully, he was grateful enough that after the kidnapping to decide to come and talk to us about it. And how can we use it for our Airbnb? So I'm going to give us a couple more minutes just to fill up the room. And Michael, it's in Saratoga. And Sarasota.
Down in Florida, sunny Florida.
Exactly. I'm thinking Saratoga up in New York.
Yeah.
Horsetown. So we have Susie from California. And from Emerald City, we have Scooter. I cannot pronounce his name. Do you see the chat room?
Yes, I do.
Oh, perfect. So we are all connected. So, Michael, what made you get into internet marketing?
Well, I kind of got my started when I was working for a company out in California. I was doing sales for them, and this is like 1999, early 2000. And they were still they were slow moving into all the .com stuff. And before it crashed, they were like, hey, you know what? Who wants to learn this internet marketing thing to generate leads for the business? So I immediately raised my hand and I asked the fateful question, can I keep the leads? Right? And they said yes. And I got really, really good at it. And it was, you know, it's kind of like Wild West things back then. I mean, banner ads were getting like 75% click-through rates. It was really kind of ridiculous. And if you, I'm sure everybody's on here is old enough to remember the internet, the dial-up ding, 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 really slow internet stuff. You can't really have any images on the page. If you do, it's like you walk away for 5 minutes and come back. Did the image load yet? Did the picture load?
Not yet. It's
right?
still like
Not yet. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of paid advertising and email marketing back then. And then eventually I got into search engine optimization. Got really, really good at that as well. And then finally had that moment where I was like, I need to do this for myself, and started a business back in 2004 doing it as an agency. And then I sold that agency and then started another one a couple of years after that. So
nice.
So I guess I've been involved with the internet marketing since like 2000. I guess is when I really started getting heavily involved with it, and then as a business in 2004.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being part of us. Let's get this presentation off the screen so people can see you. And me. Hello, hosts from all over the world. We have from Seattle to California. Oh, we have UK here in the house today.
All right.
Yeah. And Michael, please. Just Michael. Say hi.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me on today.
And guys, so dear hosts, and it's mostly women. But sometimes, we have Jack from Sunshine Coast. Is that you, my Jack? Because now, I have ownership on a few people, and I'm like, yes, you're mine. You like my hairstyle today? This is called frizzy hair, and let's tame it down. That's what I was trying to do. You have no idea how much stuff is there trying to like bring it down. Yeah, I have hair challenges. Okay, so let's start the presentation. And thank you one more time, dear host. I don't take you for granted. And I want to say always thank you for coming to spend an hour with me. And, this is class 3. Yay! I don't know if you have been to all the classes. And if you haven't, you can go to your private replay page. That link that I sent you on email, it's only for you. And you have all the goodies there. So today we're talking about cleaning your presentation and your home and their words. So we are going to be talking with Michael, who is here from Florida. I'm just going to say Florida because, if
That's
not,
good.
Is that good? All right.
Yeah, nobody really knows where Sarasota is at anyway. So.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm having language issues today. All right.
That's okay.
So our disclaimer, this is not an Airbnb event. Airbnb knows about me, but this is not sponsored by Airbnb or anything like that. So just, know that. Please no multitasking. And you will get this checklist later on the replay page, on your private replay page. If you go there, you have all the different goodies and things like that. And so you don't need to start writing notes. You don't need to be like, oh my God, what did she say? Because you're going to get this. Okay. So now, this is Michael Johnson, and he spoke a little bit about his life before and how he started on internet marketing since 1999. And if you know a little bit about me or you don't, I started Airbnb in 2010. That's my house, and that's when Evelyn was born. In 2012, I started talking about Airbnb and the sharing economy with anybody and everybody. And that's Brian Chesky, one of the founders of Airbnb. And in 2014, I started creating this consultation site where I talk to you guys about Airbnb. I always feel that we needed another voice. There's a few people talking, but we needed a more voice of not just about making money, but also about how is it sharing your home and your space with guests. In 2015, I was privileged and honored to speak at the Airbnb conference in Paris, and now we're here. So today we're going to talk about this listing, the session on your listing. We're going to talk about the description, and we're going to talk about reviews and how do we use them. Within here, Michael is going to also talk about search engine optimization and how can we utilize it to help us out with the description of this listing. All right, so and about this listing, we're going to talk about the first sentence, the ideal guest, and benefits versus amenities. All right? Now, on your first sentence, and we're not talking about your headline, but on your first sentence, do not repeat the listing name adjectives that you use. For example, and mind you, I'm right now need to fix my descriptions because I am using adjectives that I have on my headline, right, on my listing name. If you're using comfortable, spacious, luxury, do not go back and use that on your first sentence on your session about this listing, okay? Highlight something else unique about your home, about your street, about your neighborhood. What sets your home apart? What makes it unique? What makes it special? And what have you done to create this space, okay? So that will be that session on your listing description that not everybody uses, and it's great real estate because right after the photos, that's the first thing they're going to see. So is your house in a historic district? Is it scenic, surrounded by nature? I mean, look how beautiful this is. And I think if Jack's here, he has a place that is sort of like this, that is just gorgeous in Canada. Is it steps to fun? Is it a true ocean front? A lot of people say they're ocean front, and I read of a host who said, I'm a true ocean front. You walk from my house onto the beach. That you can highlight and talk about about this listing session, okay? Now, I want you to also use their language. Is your house kid friendly? Is it great for families? Is it pet friendly? That's a huge category that not a lot of people are using. I get inquiries that I don't allow pets. I'm allergic to them. So I don't allow pets, but I know that that's a big market that people are not using. So if your space is pet friendly, ideal for kids, let them know on the about this session. Is it off the beaten path? Is it for an adventure? Is it secluded? Is it quiet? Is it idyllic? All of these things are languages that you could use. And Michael, tell me a little bit about, what words do you think would be ideal, especially with search engine?
Sure. And when you keep in mind, I guess keep in mind why people actually are coming and staying with you, right? So are they going to be traveling because they're doing business? Is this for pleasure? And when you start looking at that, you can take advantage of some of the other listings that are around and see how they're describing the area, the neighborhoods that you live in. And maybe because that's how you can do your competitive research. If you're not, I'm in the creative side of things, right? And I don't consider myself a really, really creative person because I just know some people that are just amazingly creative, right? And so rather than try and reinvent the wheel, go out, do your searches on Airbnb, see what those top listings are that are in your neighborhood. And if those words and phrases apply to your place, then use those. And I think, Evelyn, you're going to be talking about this a little bit later, but that's the best way to do it. So when you think about a search engine, it's how people actually use their language to find things. And if you're using the language that's in the other sections and the reviews and stuff like that, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and we're going to talk in a minute about reviews and how do you go about and extract language, because we have this ideal of how things should be said. And the reality is we don't have to think about it. No, we're not talking about copying your listing. What we're talking about is descriptive language that people might use of restaurants, of things like that. And it doesn't have to be all the listings. It could be hotels. It could be some tourist attractions. How do they describe it? How do people search? Okay, like let's say when you go on vacation, right? And let's say you come into New York. What are the things you want to go see? Statue of Liberty, Central Park, Dumbo, maybe. Not a lot of people know about that. So in your listing, pepper it with some of those words that they're going to be searching. Because you're going to not use them just for your listing, but you will also use them in marketing. And you want to use it beyond Airbnb on your website, on any Facebook page that you might have, anything like that. It is language that your guests use, okay? And mind you, please, if you have Wi-Fi, you do not need to say that on your listing about this page. It's not a unique selling point unless your country or your city is known to not have good Wi-Fi. If that is something that happens everywhere in your city, then you could, I will say yes, sell it of, I have Wi-Fi and I have a fast Wi-Fi, unlike other people here, okay? So we're not talking about, Diana, we're not talking about copying your listing or copying anybody else's listing, because we know how hard that is. We work very hard on it. But we're talking about looking about it, about language, about how people word things out. Because sometimes we just get stuck, and sometimes we're just a little too tunnel. And believe me, it's easy to just get inspiration. What about that?
You're right. So, on that note, I'm absolutely not endorsing going out there and copying anybody. We don't want that. We look for them for inspiration, and we want to model the best ones that are out there. So look for the language that resonates with the people and the guests that come through your bed and breakfast there. So if you have a chance to speak with them and find out what it is that they thought was the best thing that attracted them to your location, and use the language that they use, because that becomes very, very important later on.
All right. Christy, you said funny Airbnb put that up as a description of my listing. What was it that they put up? I'm confused about that statement, but we could continue.
She's talking about the Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so probably it's because of it might be hard. It's a hard city. All right, so let's talk about benefits. So this amenities, somebody had, this is about this listing. Large bedroom, sleeps 2 on a firm king-size bed, hair dryer, iron, not a comma anywhere. Bright, quiet TV. So is there any comma? None either. So is it a quiet TV? A kitchenette, refrigerator, toaster, microwave. It's basically a list. And this is on the about this listing session, okay? And what I did was I rewrote it and I said the light-filled, airy bedroom in this Brooklyn brownstone, because that was a huge thing that this space was in a Brooklyn brownstone, and nowhere does the person mentions it on their about this listing. And people would love to stay in a Brooklyn brownstone. It's sort of like, oh, I'm on vacation, I'm staying at a brownstone. So I'm saying the same information in a very descriptive way. It's spacious for you and your traveling partner. And I am saying some negative thing. It is a 4-floor walk-up. Your body will thank you for selecting this comfortable, firm, king-size bed. Not every Airbnb has a king-size bed, so this is a unique selling point for them, okay? It is also, people mention the king-size bed in their reviews, so that's why I put it up as a benefit on the About This list is. So I also mentioned that it was a short 10-minute ride, because a lot of people come to New York, and if they stay in Brooklyn, they want to make sure that they are quickly getting into the city. So this still captures the list of amenities, but in descriptive and adjectives, and it paints a picture, and it's not just a list of things, okay? So I want you to not just place this list on about this listing. Please, okay? Now, on your description, we're going to talk about consistency, what's crucial, 3 and 2 things, and adjectives, okay? So if you're saying amazing ocean view beach front with pool, because she didn't have enough space to say pool, that is fantastic photo and language, because the photo is actually saying, yes, look at this amazing views. If you're saying penthouse, if you're saying views, you have to show that photo. You cannot then the first photo be your bedroom, because a bedroom is just another listing. If you have something that's fantastic, that you have that beautiful view of the Eiffel Tower, or you have, somebody had, I don't know if the person is here on this phone call, but someone had a Kahlua, and that is it's perfect for her listing, okay? So have consistency on what your words are saying and what you're showing on your photos. Now, what is crucial on your description is you need to talk about the space, the house. If you're just selling the bedroom, then you need to still talk about the house, the neighborhood, the transportation, and you need to let your guests know if there's any other roommates, are there pets, and if there are any other guests. I have a lot of people that think that my private bedroom, they're sharing it with other guests, and I'm very clear to say, no, it's only the 2 of us. That is a benefit. It's only you and 1 guest. Some hosts have multiple bedrooms. Nothing wrong with that. But your guest has to know this. Your guest cannot walk into your home expecting it to be just her or him in a private bedroom and know that now they're sharing the bathroom with 4 people, or that there's 4 or 5 people in this house besides them and the owners, okay? Now, if you have any special amenities, an elevator, a pool, Wi-Fi, this is where you list it, okay? On your description, not on the about this, not on your listing name, in your description, all right? What is it near? Are there restaurants, supermarkets? How close is transportation? Any tourist attractions? How far are they? You could also put an FAQ, which is, for questions that people normally ask you. So if you go through all your inquiries and you realize, oh, they're always asking me X, you could put it on your description. All right? Mind you, remember, not everybody goes down and reads everything, so it cannot be a big novel. All right? So because it cannot be a big novel, you need to make it easy to read. I do bullets. I do headlines. I do some capitals. I capitalize certain sentences, sort of like your space, roommates, this is where I live. Make it short sentences, short paragraph, proofread it. There was a study done that a listing with grammatical errors was not getting the bookings as a listing with perfect English. I understand we don't all speak the same language. I don't speak English well. I have someone that proofread my stuff, and they still, mistakes happen, and I still get picked up. But proofread them. Have some friends read it. If you don't have a proofreader, if you need one, let me know. I have an amazing person who's been doing all my proofreading.
Hey, Evelyn.
So, yes.
I have a free tool that you guys can use on that, because that's also a big point with the search engine optimization is the grammar.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So there's two things that are really important when you're doing stuff on the website, right? So making it easy to read is going to be something that's really important. There's I think it's called a fresh something scale. I forgot the name of it, but what it does is it measures the readability of what you have. So what grade level should be able to easily read it. Oh. And what they found is that if you can get that to the 8th grade level or below, then you should be able to encompass just about anybody who's going to be reading it. But the free tool that I'm talking about, it's called Grammarly. I'll put it in the chat here for everybody. And I use this tool all the time. I still have an editor that goes through my stuff anyway. Mm-hmm. But this allows me to put in things, because I'm horrible about putting commas and sometimes my descriptions get really long and flowery, and so it helps me simplify things. So I'm not so technical on what it is, and then it's a Chrome plugin, so it works right within your browser, and it's pretty simple to use.
Beautiful, thank you, and we'll have it also on the replay page. We'll put all the resources that we talk about. So Pat, please keep this one aside as well. So, and also, like Michael was saying, it's like if you're going into this flowery, long description, people get overwhelmed. The same way that you should not have so many pictures that people get tired. I mean, you're looking at 4 or 5 listings on Airbnb, and if you've seen 40 pictures, or if you've seen a novel, it becomes overwhelming. All right? Make sure that the important information is up front, because that's what they're going to read. And then, yes, there's all the information that you want them to read the entire description. So how can you hold their hands to do that? Right. A novel will not do it. Okay.
And just keep in mind what you were saying, Evelyn, about the bullet points and breaking up things in short sentences and paragraphs. Understand that when people use a web page, think about how you use it. You go and scan for the information that you're looking for. And then if you find the information that you're looking for, then you go back and read. And the people that are going to be looking at your listing are going to be doing it the same way. So they're going to be scanning. So make sure that the things that are really important are broken up by white space and bullet points, so they can easily find those things.
All right.
And that'll help with the conversion as well.
What by Michael say by white space is basically have a paragraph, has some space in between your paragraph, so it's not just this big long stuff. Okay. All right. So now let's go back. We are almost there, and let me just present it again. So now, after what's crucial, this is from one of my greatest tips from the head of hospitality, Chip Conley. He's the head of hospitality of Airbnb, and he's coming back to do another class with us in the summer. But he mentioned one of his tips was write 3 things your guests love. Read your reviews and see 3 things that they love, and also 2 things that they don't. So if it's walking up the stairs, is it a shared bathroom? Is it pets? You need to make sure that you put it in there so your guests are not surprised. If you have a spiral staircase, some listings have that, or something that is, it might be something that your guests might not like, you need to mention it to them. You do not want your guests to come to your house and they're facing a 5th floor walk up and they have crutches, okay? Or they're facing a cat or a cat household and they have horrible allergies. So you need to make sure that your guest knows your space will be perfect for somebody. It will not be perfect for everybody. I'm not perfect for somebody that wants to be in the city because I live in Brooklyn. And I don't want that guest that is going to be upset that they have to take the train. But I could always say on my description is, hey, I'm not in the city, but you're not walking up by sirens. You're walking up by birds. It is quiet. You get a restful night of sleep because it's not the noisy city, okay? So you see how you can still make something that is quote unquote a negative into a positive, okay? I know, Christy does, yeah, so you might need to either put a handrail or something because those steps, if people mention it, it's about accuracy, okay? So now, this is on adjectives, and I'm not going to go through them because I'm giving you this list, okay? You're going to get a checklist with a bunch of different adjectives that you could use in your description language. So from remarkable, exquisite, beautiful, delightful, you know, and think about if you're saying elegant and you have a beach shack, that might not be elegant. So be truthful to what you're saying. If you're saying luxurious, my house is not luxurious. So I would not put that there. It's cozy, it's comfortable, it's homey, but it's definitely not luxurious. Okay? Because then the expectation from your guests is that that's what they're going to get. All right? So you're going to get all these adjectives. So now we're going to go to the best part, or what I always love. It's reviews. Now, reviews, this is one of my reviews from David back from 2015. What you do is you grab your reviews and you go through them, and you see how he says spacious. Then he said ample supplies. The next person said nicely designed, comfortable, on-site attention. They're using keywords that you could then create about these listings. The beautiful design apartment, spacious, comfortable. All I did was use their language. I didn't have to do anything else. All right? Use the language. Use your guest language. They will tell you what's important, how they go to select your space. All right? In the same way, I could use the same thing to come up with a listing name. So spacious, comfortable for groups. You do not need to put that it's a 2-bedroom. You do not need to do any abbreviations on your listing name, okay? Because your guests will not know what it means, all right? Now, I want you to feel calm when you get next guest walks in. So now let's talk to Michael and just see, let's gonna stop the presentation and talk a little bit more about our search engine. How can we go about using it for our Airbnb, especially since Airbnb has their own search engine?
Right. And so before I get started on that, so Deanna, this is what we were talking about, using the verbiage and the words that your customers leave in the reviews. And when you go to the other reviews and you're looking at them in your neighborhood, looking at them that way. So we're not talking about copying it again. So I'm going back to that point for a second, but we're talking about using the words. So the same rules apply really with any type of search engine that's out there. So if you think about it, the first search engine that generally comes to mind is Google, right? But Facebook has a search engine, right? Airbnb has a search engine. Almost every big major site out there has an internal search engine. and ways that you can filter the conversation. And a lot of times it's going to be based on the words that are in the listing. So this is why it becomes really, really important on why you can go in there and actually use the language. One of the things that I found that was really unique within the, as I'm doing search engine optimization with Google, is that out of the hundreds of millions, and I think they're even up to maybe 1 billion searches on a monthly basis or something like that, right? Is that half of those searches are unique on a monthly basis, meaning that only one person actually put in that search string. So if you think about all the different ways that you can actually describe something, you're going to come up with a lot of different variations. And so you don't necessarily need to stress yourself about how many different combinations are out there. Rather, go and do your research, go and find the language that people are using, look for the patterns in that language, and then include those things in the listing. And if it's one of the best things to do also, and I think, Evelyn, you've brought this up already, is that if they ask for something in the listing, make sure you fill it out, right? If there's a space for it, if it says upload 5 pictures, upload 5 pictures, right? Don't upload 2 or 3. If it says you have 1,000 characters for this, try and use 1,000 characters if you can, because that gives you more opportunity to actually take advantage of what they're offering. So one of the best ways to get found is to utilize all the spaces that they provide you to actually have an opportunity to be found.
Yeah, and within Airbnb, there's they have their own search, and the way it's certain points to bring you up in the algorithm is if you are updating your calendar daily, just go to your calendar, go and look at it and touch it and click on it and say, oh, this is booked. No, I forgot. No, it's not blocked. It's unblocked. They want you to respond quickly to review to inquiries. Never cancel anybody. That's a big no-no. So they said they don't have this big ways and they don't tell us what to do. One of the things I've been playing with is using their price tips, because I think because I am touching the calendar and changing things on the calendar, it brings me up. Every time I go in and work with the calendar on the prices, I get an inquiry, and for the most part, I get a booking. So play with it, play with your listing. And something that Michael was saying was also, because we were talking yesterday about this, and he was saying, how then you use that language for your own website. Mm-hmm. This site, it's Airbnb's. And I will say this to you guys again and again and again. If Airbnb closes your listing, everything disappears. Your hard work, your reviews, your livelihood, and it has happened to people. I'm not saying it's going to happen to us, but you need to be prepared. I know in Amsterdam they just closed a bunch of listings because of the cities and how the cities' legal issues were coming down. That means all your reviews are gone. That means any future income is gone. So you need to make sure that your listing is not just on Airbnb, guys. It needs to be in multiple platforms. It needs to be, the places. And save those reviews. Go back in, have an assistant or have somebody, or, spend it while you're watching Game of Thrones. Grab those reviews and save them. It will be like you going to get a master's degree in college, and when you graduate, somebody tells you, oh no, you cannot say that you were here, and there's no proof that you did this. You are dedicated hosts, and I want you to keep this happening, okay? Any other insights we could do with, how do we go about searching the keywords within Google so that we can find out, what is it that?
Well, there's some, the basic things that I would do, I would spend a lot more time on the Airbnb site, right? Because they're going to have the language that you're looking for. When you start getting into doing the search engine optimization as far as on your own website or things like that, then it becomes a little trickier, because then you're going to start looking at the type of property that you are and the type of guests that would stay there, right? So if you think for a second, when somebody comes to my listing, why are they going to be there, right? Are they a vacation traveler, Are they there for business? Are they there with family? Are they there with a loved one, right? There's lots of different types of, or profiles of people that would visit and stay with you with your particular listing. So if you pay attention to the people that come through, you're going to find that they generally are going to fall into a couple different categories. And if you can just pay attention to those categories and then write your listings and write the stuff that's on your website only to attract those people and exclude everybody else. So for example, if I'm a business traveler and I need to get places quickly, and I have stuff that I'm doing in Brooklyn, but I also need to get into Manhattan. I'm only here for a couple of days, so I need to get things moving quickly. Proximity to different trains are going to be very important. So if you list on there that, hey, you're 5 minutes from this train, right? You are 10 minutes from this location, 5 minutes from this location, then they'll know that, hey, you know what? If I need to go anywhere quickly, this is an ideal location. But also, if I'm a business traveler and I'm working late at night, I need to know things that are going to be open when I'm done with all my business stuff, that I can go quickly grab a bite to eat, right? So, hey, this restaurant over here is open 24 hours and it's 10 minutes down the road, right? 10-minute walk. Then things like that, you are now making it more appealing for that business traveler who has a very tight schedule, and also is going to be doing things like eating takeout at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And getting on the computer. So think about the people that are staying in at your location, and try and write things that will appeal to them and not appeal to anybody else.
Yeah. And let me just show something on my listing right now, because they're actually, Airbnb is giving you a little bit of search and sending you some keywords that are, okay, I think, yep, there we go. All right, so this is my listing, new photos since last week, okay. Reasons guests choose this place: instant book, verified photos, great for business travel, wireless internet, kitchen, and I'm a super host. Mind you, guests do not know what is a super host, okay? So I want you to know that. They do not know what is a super host, and we're going to have a big conversation about super hosts, all right? Now, because Susan was asking about how those highlights from reviews that Airbnb has placed, they eliminated, remember how they used to show like, oh, a review from 2 years ago and grab anything, and you were like, oh my God, what are you talking about, please? But now they're highlighting words from your reviews. So they talk about cleaning, location, recommendations. So these are just keywords that people have talked about. So, I mean, one of the things I could mention is the ease of check-in. I have guests that arrive late, that they want to make sure like, oh, I'm arriving at midnight. So I could say you could check in 24 hours a day without a problem. If that's the case, because I have an easy checklist, check-in process and procedure. You get a kitchen. So you see, they're already pulling some, Airbnb already has pulled some words from your reviews that are highlighted, okay? These are words that have been mentioned through my reviews. So host, because they talk about how wonderful I am. Yes, they do. They talk about how clean, and then the location. So, just think about it, how it will be, if, how those words, you could use them in your language, because that's important to your guest, okay? I know that it seems like, Elizabeth is saying that she hasn't seen these words on the top. You know how it is that Airbnb rolls things out to some people before they do it to other people or anything like that. But you could just go through your reviews and start highlighting language that you feel like, oh, they keep saying it the same thing. Because you see, comfortable is here, as it was mentioned 35 times, and I have pulled it from a review. All right, so sort of like you have to go through your reviews and do research. This is the best thing to do, guys, is your reviews are huge. They also, I know of a host who says that a guest stayed with him because he used the review in the caption, and it was proof. It wasn't just the host selling his space. It's a guest selling it for him, okay? Micah, anything else that you want to talk, or?
Yeah, I think that's I think it's probably the best advice that I've heard anybody give, right? Is going through the reviews and looking for the language. I can't stress how important that is. And if if you don't have reviews, or if you don't have a lot of different reviews, then that's where it's important to go kind of do your market research and look at what other people in your area are doing, because those are going to be probably they're going to be the most like what you have. And then look for similar listings to yours as well, even if they're outside of your area. As long as they're a similar listing, then you can get inspiration and get ideas from that. But never stop learning, never stop tweaking. Always be moving forward on this, because it's a changing game. People's tastes are going to change. How they describe things are going to change. The tools that they use, the things that they go out there and do things with are going to change. So just keep changing with the times and you'll be okay.
Jack is saying that he did a branding exercise with his TripAdvisor review. Now I'm going to say, can you share it? And, I don't know how to do this, but I think I could highlight you, Jack, if you want to talk about. Do you want me to, like, I think I could. Okay, can I see you as a presenter? Can I add you? This will be a first. Hold on one second. Do me a favor and do a request. We're gonna try something new here. Ta-da! Oh my God, Jack, we are trying things out. Broadcast question. Okay, no, that's not it. You see, it's just trying to learn something new, and of course, let me see if it's there on the room request. I'm not seeing it. Darn it. Nope. You need to request to speak, Jack, in the room. So if you do that, I think I could bring you in as one of the presenters, so you could talk a little bit about that. You see? Now you're on the hook. Jack actually was, I think this is you, Jack, my Jack that bought my house manual. And within it, he's an amazing host as well. There it is. Let's find out how I'm going to do this. Yay, request view. Okay, Jack, and now how do I do this? Invite a speaker. Oh, okay. I think you have an invitation, Jack. All right, so I know that we also going to do the listing. Not hearing. Jack, can we hear you? I hear something. No, you're not hearing me. All right. I think, Jack, we're having problems here, but you know what? We'll do this later on. We will try to, let me see, invite a speaker, but yeah. Jack? Okay, we're going to try this later on at another time. And I'll talk to Jack and talk about how he got the branding exercise. Okay? Now, Michael, thank you so much for being part of our conversation this morning. I do not need to keep you here for long, just because we're going to talk about, I know they want to do this, which is I go through the listings and talk about them.
Not a problem.
Thank you for you're welcome to
thank you for having me here. I appreciate it. I actually have to get with my assistant right now as well. So we have a little time delay. Do you mind if I invite people to the Facebook group?
No, not at all.
One of the things that I do is I run a Facebook group. It's called Ideas at Work, and it's specific to growing an online business, right? And we do a lot of action steps and things like that. And I do weekly webinars. And which is one of the reasons why Evelyn had me on here today as well. So I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat box there for everybody. And it is a closed group, but you should be able to, I'll approve you pretty quickly on that. So look forward to having you. Evelyn's a member of the group. Always look forward to doing anything with you. And I should be able to get on tomorrow as well.
Yes.
In the evening. I'll probably, the 30, 45 minutes, and then I have to jump on my webinar right after that. So.
Yeah, which is the reason why I'm always late to your webinars, man. I
That's
always
fine.
come in late, which is horrible because then it's like I don't get to be selected of whenever he does things, and I'm like, damn it. All right, well, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, Evelyn.
All right. So, guys, if you want me to go through your listing, put up the review, put up your listing URL so we can go through it. In the meantime, I want to talk to you a minute about something else. I want to say to you, look, I understand how it is when you have guests coming in. I want you to really feel calm and when your next guest walks in. So I have created a house manual template where it answers all your guest questions. It is designed, it's really easy because I know technology and design, they're not my forte, so I had design or actually work on this and create it. It has the house manual. It shows you how to create it from your house rules. Any question your guest has, it will be there. It would answer the questions. My house manual is actually something that my guests mention on my reviews. They love it. It has multiple headers, multiple themes, and you could actually customize it. This is actually a host whom I totally adore. He has a place down in Florida called the Naked Palms. And this is his book, and he customized it to himself. So you could go from sunsets to chickens. So if you have anything that's your space, your brand, you could create it on your manual. You could totally customize it. And in addition to that manual, you get a neighborhood where it's all designed already for restaurants, activities, transportation, all the information you guests have and that you don't want to be answering, it's in here. It includes a step-by-step instructions. It is formatted in PowerPoint, in Word, in Keynote. Believe me, we worked on this really, really hard, and it's only $39, one-time payment. So this is a great little tool for you to have in your arsenal of tools. All right, it's a one-time payment. You don't have to do anything else. It downloads and you work on it. If you have any questions, you are more than welcome to come and ask me. All right. Chrissy, I am so happy that, you're welcome to come on over, evelynbadilla.com, house manual. Next class, it's going to be all about the house manual. What should be in it? If you don't want to buy mine, you don't have to. You can build your own. I want you to have a house manual. It's really, really huge and important. There are some digital programs out there where you could use digital, but I feel that people want to have something in paper. It's something tangible that you could just flip through and look, and you could have a digital component of it. So this is really, really great for you guys. All right, so do you want to show me your listing? Anybody? Do we not have a taker? Nobody wants to me to go to the listing? Don't be afraid. I'll be gentle. Come on, guys. Exactly. Thank you, Jack. I'm telling you, Jack reported back in we went through it and he did an amazing job. His book, it's beautiful. He totally what you have to remember, it's just easy. It's easy. I want you to have ease in use in creation, but I want you to create something amazing. All right, so we have Susan. Yes. All right, finally. All right, so we have Susan here. Okay, let me go and share this. Susanna, I think I have seen your space before. Did you change anything? I remember this wall. It's so beautiful. Look how great and inviting this is. Okay, so now my question about the name is Cozy Romantic Studio. Let's go. So look, one of the reasons your guest chose you was no fee for extra guests. Mind you, Airbnb is saying no extra charge at a massive, but you want to make sure that they don't bring more than 2 people, right? It has wireless internet. Oh, let me just present to everybody. Okay, there we go. This is the space. Look how beautiful. Let me just click on the pictures because I always like to click on pictures. Great, great image. I think we have spoken about this. I love this space. It's so bright and beautiful. Look how gorgeously clean it looks. Oh, just perfect. All right, but we're not talking about photos. We're talking about the space. So comfortable apartment for two, large bathroom with shower, kitchen. So this space right here could be used a little bit better, Susanna. You have some great reviews since you are a super host. She helped me with luggage, everything I needed, organization and information. User friendly, don't do the apartment justice, lovely and incredibly comfortable. You see, like this part here, you could use this as a caption on one of your photos, by the way. So, access to anywhere in Milan as the tram is less than a block away. That could be as part of your about this listing. Look at what they're saying. It's sort of, they are giving you the words, access to anywhere in Milan. View transportation. So instead of just saying here, blah, 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 very quiet, safe neighborhood, will link to center, you could just say it's access to anywhere Milan. So I would say go through here and change this word. Not make it just as a list of things. Pepper it with language that your guests are using, okay? So you see, location is something mentioned 13 times. It's totally recommended. The ease of check-in, the neighborhood is mentioned a few times, how clean it is. So you could use clean on your first word, all right? Without false, that this was the best choice. The flat is very cozy. Situated in 1 minute, okay. And for sure, gorgeous Susanna is very gentle, kind, and fantastic host. So look, I'm gonna say you could probably use some better language just because of what your guest is saying. And what you could always say is, I am a super host. I will take care of you. I take my responsibility very seriously as a host. Comes calmer than really sells luxury. Okay, do you speak other languages? Because I will mention it on your profile as well, okay? So remember, all of this is used for your guests. So how can you go about selling it better with just their own words? And mind you, I'm just going through the English language because I don't speak Italian. So it's convenient, no neighborhood, silent locations. Instead of silent, I would say quiet. So you could sleep late and things like that. Okay. So great space. I love I always loved your home, Susanna. Really pretty, very pretty. All right. Next one. Guys, you did a lot. And of course, we're just going to go through two only. If I've seen your space before, let's give a chance to someone else. All right. So we're going to Amber's home. Let me share it. Present to everybody. All right, here we go. All right, your first photo, as you notice, is cropped. And it's not giving you, it's not the best photo it's not invitational for people to click on it, okay? So I would definitely, a small desk is included, okay? You see, your photos are really dark. So I'm going to say, please retake your photos again when it's sunny outside and when it's bright, because these are they're just a little bit too dark. You in Oregon, queen bed with ceiling mattress and comfy garden. I guess, do you have? So, all right. So you are brand new, Amber. Well, congratulations and welcome to Airbnb. So you have a couple of reviews. They're not coming up. All right. So let's say the communicated well, access properly independent and left in a great shape. This is reviewing you. Okay. So what I'm going to say is look at the pricing in your neighborhood and see if you go a little lower just so that you could get some reviews. I don't know how many more bookings you have. I'm looking through your listing. You have a couple of things coming up in July. Play with your pricing and also do some different photos. Yeah, so what I'm going to say is change your photos, please. Change your photos, make them bright. Go to, if you haven't listened to the photograph webinar we did last week, go into the replay and listen to it because it has great tips. We had a photographer there and he was amazing and gave us great tips on how to do about photos, how they get cropped. So please go and listen to it, okay? Now, do we have any other questions, my dear host? I am not doing another listing. We only do 2 at a time. And I hope you go into the Facebook group because we are talking, and we talk more than just about the sprinkling challenge. I want you to know it's a group where we're supporting each other, we're helping each other. It is hard to find a community where you could talk about dirty towels and the things that you guys do without feeling like, oh, I talk too much about that. So please go to the Facebook group, Patty, if you can give us the link as well. Also, if you're interested on expanding your business and going more into online business, go to Mical's Facebook group. It's a great group. I use it a lot. He does webinars every single week on Wednesday nights. So my class is at 8, his class is at 9, so you can attend to both of them. All right? Like always, thank you so much for being here. Please, I will see you next week. We're going to talk all about the manual. Yay. Yes, I'm so excited. You have no idea. I love my manual. Thank you so much. Yes, the group is only for hosts. The Facebook group is private and it's only for hosts. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, guys and ladies. And have a great day. Let me just turn off the camera at least. Back here.